Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to my Trying a New Makeup Product Everyday series. Today I'm going to be trying out this eyeshadow palette from the brand The BALM, and it's the Meet Matte Trimony matte eyeshadow palette. And it's talking about this guy, matrimony. And so this is kind of like a neutrals marriage material type palette, which I'm very intrigued by. I'm in a wedding next weekend and I'm doing my own makeup, so maybe this could be the perfect palette to use for that. But this is a $42 palette, and let's get into it here. So it's all matte colors, and these are some big pan sizes. It's also got the mirror here, but a nice range of shades. All seem very cohesive, but let's go ahead and start out with some swatches. Ooh, we've got a black shade, which looks extremely pigmented. I'm going to swatch like darkest and lightest. Oh, they have very different textures too. Like the light one felt very soft. The dark one was a little bit harder. And then let's see. Oh, this one doesn't seem as pigmented as I was expecting, but could be different once I apply it to the eye. Oh, I love these matte brown shades. Those are the types of shades I use most often. Does seem like a pretty impressive black shade. Yeah, some good pigment to these. I feel like these swatches don't really tell me too much about how they're going to look on the eye, but they don't seem too bad. Okay, so I am going to be testing these out with and without my eyeshadow primer. I'm using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. And I'm just going to apply this all over one of my eyelids. Blend it out. And I love to set my eyelids and set the primer with a light matte shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the lightest shade here. A little bit of kickback. So I'll tap that off. And just on a fluffy brush, I just lightly dust it all over the eyelid. It's not really showing up much. Let's see, on the eye without the primer. Like I like to use a light matte shade to kind of cancel out discoloration. It can also be a good shade to throw on if I'm not doing a full eyeshadow look, to just kind of clean up the look. But this one, I mean, if I layer it up a lot, I can get a little bit of coverage over the discoloration on my eyelids, but not as much as I was expecting. But let's go ahead and pick up, this looks like a really good like transition shade. And I'm going to blend this from the crease up to the brow bone and create some depth. I like this mauve shade here because it kind of looks like the shade of like a shadow that forms like with the light. So it's helping to create that dimension very nicely. Blending out pretty well, but definitely not extremely pigmented. But for this transition area purpose, I don't need it to be super pigmented, but we'll see how the shades do on my eyelid, because typically I'd be wanting to see more pigment pay off than what I'm getting. At least it is easy to blend. But I feel like I have to keep dipping the brush back in for more to build it up to be visible. Okay. Next for my crease, I'm going to pick up, let's go for this matte shade here. And just focusing this right into the crease, trying to deepen this up a little bit more, get more dimension. It's doing a little bit of that, but kind of subtle. I guess subtle is not terrible for wedding makeup, if that's what this is intended for. Definitely more like natural shades that I've used so far, but we've definitely got some dark ones in the palette, so I'm going to try those out. I'm actually like sticking with this same brush because I'm kind of liking blending all of the shades together. I'm going to try and deepen up the outer corner a little bit, so picking up the dark brown here. But yeah, this is a nice dark brown shade that definitely is dark enough to create that dimension that I wanted. Gonna also kind of throw a little bit of it into the crease too to deepen that up a little more. I'm really happy with how blendable these are. Yeah, that's a really nice dark brown shade for the outer corner. This is like one of my go-to kind of eyeshadow looks, and this is the perfect shade for this purpose. Whoa, it showed up so much more pigmented on the eye with the primer. Look at that. I was like, wow, that's a decently pigmented dark brown. This side, it's like nothing. Let's pick up some more. Wow, it's doing that thing where it feels like my eyelid is just like absorbing the eyeshadow and it's just like not showing up. Yeah, you definitely need a primer with these. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I was able to kind of build it up to match this eye, but even still, it's not quite as pigmented. And then I think lastly, I just want to use this pretty light pink. So on a flat brush, I'm going to pick up some of that to press onto the rest of the eyelid. I wish this showed up a little bit more pigmented. It's a bit more sheer than what I would like. But I actually really like this finished look, this color combination, neutral mattes, but not too bland and boring of a look, considering it's all pretty neutral and you don't have that fun shimmer effect, but there's still a lot going on. A lot of dimension to play with. Just finished blending it together. Yeah, it's not going to be my favorite palette, especially for $42. Like, it's fine, it's decent, but it's not really blowing me away, not impressing me all that much. I also just like to take a shade along the lower lash line. Let's use a shade that I haven't used yet. I've used almost all of them. Should I use the black shade for fun? Let's go for it. Picking up a smaller, dense brush to blend this along the lower lash line. Yeah, this actually shows up pretty nice and dark for a black eyeshadow. But I'm just going to kind of smoke it out, blend it a little bit. I'm actually not so sure how nicely the black eyeliner goes with the eyeshadow look, but I ended up using most of the shades in this palette, and that was kind of my goal. So here's my finished eyeshadow. Yeah, it's fine, but not great. Definitely a difference with the primer versus without it. Just like how vibrant, how blended it is. And I feel like when there's such a noticeable difference between with the primer versus without it, it's not the best eyeshadow formula. I also feel like there's nothing really special about these shades. You can easily get these in other palettes that are less expensive, that are going to be better quality. So I'm just going to have to say, in my opinion, skip this palette. Don't spend $42 on it. I just feel like it's not worth it. But if you have tried it, let me know what you think. Maybe you think it's totally worth it. But thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.